Hey there! Imagine millions of customers, billions in accounts, global dominance. That's what these companies had before everything went very, very wrong. In this episode, we'll look at 10 giants who built empires only to watch them crumble to dust. From the bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers, which shook the foundations of the global economy, to Enron's scandalous lies, these stories show that even the biggest companies are not indestructible. Get ready for a wild ride through the world of big money, risk, and spectacular failures. They were giants that no one dared to touch. Millions of customers, billions of dollars, global power, until something went very, very wrong. Here are 10 companies that went from the very top straight to the bottom, and believe me, each of these stories is a ready-made movie script. Lehman Brothers. A name that once symbolized the power of Wall Street became synonymous with the financial crisis of 2008. Founded in 1850, Lehman Brothers survived wars, crises, and scandals, becoming the fourth largest investment bank in the USA. However, even 158 years of experience couldn't save them from the subprime mortgage trap. They issued loans to people with low creditworthiness, betting that real estate prices would rise indefinitely. On September 15, 2008, Lehman Brothers declared bankruptcy with a debt exceeding $600 billion. It was the largest financial firm collapse in US history, triggering a domino effect worldwide. Enron, once a star in the energy sector, became a symbol of corporate greed and fraud. The company built its empire on accounting manipulation, hiding billions of dollars in losses and exaggerating its profits. At the helm of Enron was the charismatic Kenneth Lay, who fostered a culture of risk and lack of accountability. For years, Enron was seen as an innovative and successful company, with its stock reaching dizzying heights. However, in 2001, the bubble burst when a financial analyst began questioning their opaque accounting practices. The Enron scandal led to the company's collapse, the arrest of its executives, and the loss of thousands of jobs. It was one of the biggest corporate scandals in history, shaking confidence in American capital markets. Kodak is a classic example of a company that failed to keep up with technological changes. The company that invented digital photography did not appreciate its potential and focused on outdated film technology. Even though Kodak invented the digital camera in 1975, the company's management feared that the new technology would cannibalize their profitable film business. Instead of leveraging its technological advantage, Kodak ignored the growing popularity of digital photography. In 2012, after years of losses and restructuring, Kodak declared bankruptcy. The company that once defined photography became a victim of its own reluctance to change. Blockbuster was once the king of video rentals, with thousands of stores worldwide. However, their empire crumbled within just a few years when a new player entered the market: Netflix. Netflix, which started as a DVD mail-order service, quickly realized the potential of online streaming. In the year 2000, Netflix offered itself to Blockbuster for just $50 million. However, Blockbuster's management rejected the offer, believing that Netflix's business model had no future. In 2010, Blockbuster declared bankruptcy, and most of its stores were closed. The story of Blockbuster is a cautionary tale for companies that underestimate the power of innovation and fail to adapt to changing customer expectations. Pan American World Airways, known more widely as Pan Am, was once synonymous with luxurious air travel. Founded in 1927, Pan Am played a key role in the development of international passenger aviation. However, behind the shiny facade were problems that ultimately led to the airline's downfall. In 1988, tragedy struck when a Pan Am plane exploded over Lockerbie, Scotland, killing 270 people. The Lockerbie terrorist attack damaged Pan Am's reputation and led to a decline in passenger numbers. In 1991, after 64 years of operation, Pan Am declared bankruptcy. General Motors, once a symbol of American industrial might, found itself on the brink of collapse in 2008. For decades, GM was the largest car manufacturer in the world, but their dominance began to wane in the face of growing competition from Japanese automakers. The financial crisis in 2008 dealt GM the final blow. In December 2008, the US government granted GM a loan of $13.4 billion to prevent the company's collapse. The government aid allowed GM to avoid total failure, but the company had to undergo deep restructuring. After years of difficulties, GM returned to profitability and regained its position as one of the largest car manufacturers in the world. However, GM's story serves as a warning to companies that rest on their laurels and fail to adapt to changing market conditions.
Nortel Networks, the Canadian telecommunications giant, was once one of the most valuable companies in the world. During the dot-com boom at the turn of the century, Nortel was a leader in internet and telecommunications technology. However, Nortel's success proved to be short-lived. In 2004, Nortel was accused of inflating its revenues and profits, leading to a drop in the company's stock value by over 90%. In 2009, the company declared bankruptcy, and its assets were sold to competitors. The fall of Nortel was one of the largest bankruptcies in Canadian history, and a symbol of the risks associated with the dot-com bubble.
Toys R Us, once a mecca for children and a nightmare for parents, became a victim of changing shopping habits and the growing popularity of online shopping. For decades, Toys R Us was a dominant player in the toy market, with thousands of stores worldwide. However, their empire began to crumble with the rise of Amazon and other online retailers. Amazon offered customers a wider selection of toys, lower prices, and the convenience of online shopping. In September 2017, Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy, and in March 2018, they announced the closure of all their stores in the USA. The fall of Toys R Us was a blow to the toy industry, and a symbol of Amazon's growing dominance in retail. Wirecard, a German technology company specializing in payments, was once a star of the German stock market. Founded in 1999, the company quickly grew, offering innovative payment solutions for businesses worldwide. In 2019, journalists from the Financial Times began publishing articles questioning Wirecard's accounting practices. In June 2020, Wirecard admitted that €1.9 billion were missing from its accounts, and auditors from EY refused to sign off on the company's 2019 financial statements. It turned out that Wirecard had been falsifying its financial data for years, inflating its revenues and profits. The Wirecard scandal shook the German financial market and led to calls for stricter financial oversight regulations. Evergrande, the Chinese real estate giant, was once a symbol of China's construction boom. Founded in 1996, the company quickly expanded, building apartments, offices, and shopping centers in hundreds of cities across China. By 2021, Evergrande was the second largest developer in China, with assets worth over $350 billion. However, behind the impressive numbers was a dangerous dependence on debt. With declining sales and rising debt financing costs, Evergrande faced a liquidity crisis. The collapse of Evergrande shook the Chinese real estate market and raised concerns about contagion in other sectors of the economy. As you can see, even the largest and most well-known companies are not immune to collapse. All these companies are just a few examples of firms that once seemed indestructible but are now just memories. What do these stories have in common? Often, it's a mix of arrogance, poor management, ignoring warning signs, and failing to adapt to changing market realities. The business world is dynamic and unpredictable, and what is at the top today can be at the bottom tomorrow. And you? What do you think? Which of these stories shocked you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this content, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. See you in the next episode. Take care. Bye for now.